When your shop is moving in the right direction, is very easy to tell. And one way you can tell is that people go to your shop, they look for the best items you have listed there, and they go ahead and buy it. It doesn't matter how expensive it is. Of course, I'm not saying you should overprice your items, but it doesn't matter how expensive it is. Even though your competitor is kind of selling something similar with a slightly, lesser price, they go ahead and buy your item. There's a reason for that. The reason is that they have found your item to be, very premium. They found your item. They've taken a look around. Don't think the buyers are foolish. They have become smarter than you can ever think. 2025, people just suddenly became smarter because people's purchasing power is getting caught by so many factors, job loss, on an all-time low. Because of that, people have just become smarter. So when they go online to want to shop for items, the first thing they want to ask is that, is the item in good quality? See, if you think you can get away with selling a laptop that's kind of, broken on the edges, broken on the front, the front right here, the top cover is all scratched up, the back pretty much destroyed. If you think you can get away with that, you better have to think again, because the days of you getting away with stuff like that is pretty much gone, and it's never going to come back again. People are smarter than you can ever imagine. They do not want to spend money on their shop, and at the end of the day, they are not happy, they are not satisfied. They will feel highly cheated, and nobody wants to feel cheated. See, in a good transaction, the seller and the buyer needs to have this feeling that, yes, I have actually gotten myself a fair deal. Anything short of that is going to result in a situation where people are disgruntled. They want to return your items. This is not exactly what you want in a time like this. See, somebody went to my shop just yesterday and decided to buy this beautiful laptop here. And one thing I have promised is that, look, if you go onto my shop to try to buy something, it doesn't matter what, I'm going to make sure that the item is shipped out as soon as possible. That is a premium service. People are also tired of having to buy something like a functional laptop, and having to wait like 4 or 5 days before the items get delivered. The idea is we are living in the time of AI, and the faster you can deliver your items, the better it's going to be for you. The best experience your potential buyers are going to have. And because of that, they are just going to keep coming back, and you're going to be asking yourself, why is it that people just find my shop very interesting? Yes, they find it interesting because you have proven to them that, look, if they ever decide to buy on your shop, you have the capacity to impress them, to make them happy, and to make them have, real value for their money. Where's my sellotape? I keep forgetting sellotape. I keep leaving it somewhere in the warehouse, and I don't like it because it has a way of just, wasting my time. If you ever have to do stuff like this, you have to be sure that the items you use in working are always close to you. Of course, I have a way of just talking about the good things that one should do, but some way, somehow, I do not tend to adhere to it because it is what it is. When you have a lot going on, things like this are bound to happen. But the idea is, if you use this thing all the time, make sure it's as close to you as it can possibly be, because in this way, you do not have to lose time, looking for it, going around, because time is of the essence, guys. Time is absolutely of the essence. Yeah, ideally, this should normally be enough for me to send out this notebook, but because this is an expensive notebook, I will tell you it's pretty much expensive. It's an expensive notebook. I want to go ahead and make sure I give it a double wrap because I do not want any surprises. I absolutely do not want it. In a few days, I'll be going on holiday, and it's going to be a long holiday, there about 2 weeks. And because of that, I didn't want to be on holiday and begin to receive requests like, oh, the laptop came and it's actually in a very good condition, but the delivery service, they broke it. That would be a very bad email to receive while one is on holiday. And if you are so tied to your eBay shop, emotionally, physically, mentally, it has a way of just spoiling things for you. And I do not want that. Because of that, I am going to make sure this is properly packed, and whoever is going to receive this definitely is going to notice it. A long time ago, I used to think that people do not notice little details like this. See, the last review I received, somebody did write to me and said, yes, this laptop came well packed. That tells me that, look, people notice these things. When you do a shabby job packing an item, they will ultimately notice it. And when they notice it, they're not going to be happy with you. They're going to be angry. And if the item that you have sent to them doesn't meet their need, they are not going to hesitate in sending it back. And it's kind of foolish. If you get to do a decent transaction like this, well over 400 euros, and you send it out, and the item gets to be returned simply because the buyer is not satisfied. That's not good enough, and I try as much as possible to avoid that, and you should do the same too. You might be thinking to yourself now, Hardwareflipper, do I necessarily have to clean the power supply of my devices I send out to my buyers? I want to tell you, it's a good thing. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it's a good thing to do, because presentation really matters. When somebody receives your item, a 400 plus item like this, the person expects that the item is in the best condition, and it is not only just that the device should be looking very clean. See, I have the option of just taking this right now, and throwing it in the box just like that. See, I will not do that because I feel like it's much better if I have to, make sure that these cables are actually neatly, prepared, because it doesn't tell well if I just throw this in the box like that without actually, spending some time to just tidy up the cable. Sometimes these little things that you do takes you less than 1 minute to just do them, and it goes a long way, to showing the kind of seller that you are. You never can tell, like I always say on this channel, who the buyer on the other side is, because the buyer could just be that one person that has the capacity, to order more of your items. It could be a HRO manager, it could be a procurement manager, it could be a business development manager, and they have the capacity to just change things for you. When you do a shabby job, you have lost a potential client for life. This is the reason why I spend time. I kind of want to do the best thing I can to ensure that my customers, the buyers, people that come to my shop to buy stuff, they are so impressed that they want to come back again to buy. And before I close this box, there's one thing I normally do, which is to check that the item that is in this box actually matches what the buyer has ordered. And this I tend to do every other time, but in this video here, I did send out a wrong item to a buyer. I want to check it out to see exactly what went wrong in that transaction. Until I see you again in the next one, peace.